Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live with me, Wendy Lai. Ahead in the next 1 hour. Another earth tremor with a known magnitude shook most parts of Accra late Saturday night, leaving residents in affected areas terrified. Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has begun moves to tackle the issue of children participating in gaming activities. Teenage girls of the Loloto Primary and Junior High School in the Pandai district of the Northern region have received support of sanitary pads from an NGO. And on the international front, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, wants to free all political prisoners within the next 10 days. We've got the details of these stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up shortly. Do stay. And let's start with our stories now. And an earth tremor with a known magnitude shook most parts of Accra late Saturday night, leaving residents in affected areas terrified. Unlike the recent tremors, which were restricted to the western part of Accra, known to be the earthquake-prone area of the capital city, Saturday's is set to be the largest in recent years as it stretched beyond those areas. Now, within seconds, the earth tremor, which was recorded at exactly 11:29 Saturday, rippled through Weja, McCarthy areas, Ablekuma, Kaswa, Medina, Christian Village, Oyarifa, North Kanishi, Swotwom, Abelempe, and Legon, among other surrounding areas. Now, there were no reports of disaster. We'll bring you some more updates on that in our subsequent bulletins. And Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has begun moves to tackle the issue of children participating in gaming activities. Sector Minister Cynthia Morrison, who disclosed this on the sidelines of the Gaming Commission's rebranding, admonished parents to monitor activities of their wards.
The gaming industry has witnessed massive growth over the past decade and contributes significantly to Ghana's economy. The growth of the industry is, however, not without its challenges, key among them being underage gaming. Section 48 and 56 of the Gaming Act 2006, Act 721, spells out that persons below the age of 18 are not supposed to patronize or allowed into or near gaming facilities. But this is not being adhered to by some operators. Some children spend their time gaming at the expense of the education. The Commission in 2016 instituted a joint task force with the Ghana Police Service to undertake random sweeps to licensed and unlicensed gaming centers. This is to monitor compliance with rules and regulations governing the industry and arrest illegal operators. Machines of illegal gaming operators have in the past been confiscated, while disciplinary action has been taken against licensed operators who violate the law, especially by permitting minors into their facilities. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection wants steps taken to protect minors from the industry.
And these children end up stealing, because how do you get money to go and play these games? So it's working at it to make sure that all these things are taken off. Parents too should up their game, more responsible. When they see their children bring in money, they should ask them where the money is coming from.
The Ministry of Interior also wants the Gaming Commission to strengthen its regulatory arm.
It is key to note that the online gaming, if not properly regulated, will provide an avenue for individuals and unlicensed companies to engage in illicit gaming activities without proper regulation and monitoring. There must be tough punitive measures against illegal operators who invade the gaming space, and to the operators who fail to meet the new and improved gaming industry standards.
The Gaming Commissioner, Peter Mriku, admitted the challenges but assured of ongoing efforts to streamline the industry.
In order to clamp down on illegal operations and stop revenue leakage, the Commission has also procured new licenses for its operations. These licenses have advanced security features to discourage any attempts at duplication.
The Gaming Commission later unveiled a new logo as part of its transformation drive.
Away from that story, health workers have been advised to seek valid, informed consent from patients in discharging their duties. According to the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Yankson, this is the only grounds on which practitioners can exonerate themselves in times of crisis.
The Ghana Medical Association defines informed consent as a process by which the treating healthcare provider discloses appropriate information to a competent patient in a language they understand so that the patient may make a voluntary choice to accept or refuse treatment. Seeking informed consent expresses respect for the patient as a person, their moral right to bodily integrity, to self-determination regarding sexuality and reproductive capacities. It is also in support of the patient's freedom to make decisions within caring relationships. The call by the Ghana Medical Association has become necessary due to the increasing rate of lawsuits against medical practitioners nationwide for falling short of seeking informed consent from patients. Speaking at a clinical meeting organized by the Holy Trinity Medical Center, General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Yankson, underscored the relevance of informed consent.
Gone are the days where somebody will just say something to somebody and the conclusion is that I have a consent. No. We realize that that is not entirely, shouldn't be the case. Rather, it should be a process where the doctor and the patient go into a communication, explain things properly in a language that the patient understands. For the patients to know the implications, potential risk, benefits that that particular procedure or activity is supposed to offer him or her.
He advised practitioners to uphold high standards of professionalism in discharging their duties.
You are trained as a professional to start off with, so generally speaking, they are all professionals. But of course, as new laws are being promulgated, as new activities keep coming, the terrain itself keeps changing, and people will have to keep themselves up to date to avoid potential litigation and possibly some brushes with the law.
Executive Chairman of Holy Trinity Medical Center, Dr. Felix Anya, explained the rationale for the meeting.
Every month we'll be doing a subject. So it's a way of building capacity of our doctors in diverse ways and bringing us together to socialize and also gain knowledge.
The event, which is the second in the year, brought together experts from the field, patients and other stakeholders.
Some of our headline stories: and teenage girls of the Luluto Primary and Junior High School in the Pandai district of the Northern Region have received support of sanitary pads from an NGO. The support comes 6 months after TV3's mission report on the ordeal of the girls and what they go through in procuring sanitary pads. Stanley Ni Bleu has filed the following report.
Luluto, located in the Pandai district of the Northern Region, has a school serving some 5 communities. The school is dominated by girls, majority of who are teenagers. In August last year, TV3 Mission visited the school and discovered that some pupils are unable to attend school at certain times. Teenage female pupils, for instance, find it difficult to attend school when they are in their menstrual period. The reason they cannot afford sanitary pads. Poverty and single parenting are the bane for many pupils here. As a result, the girls prefect of the Luluto Junior High School and several others took to farming so they can earn some income to support themselves. She owns 1 acre of mixed crop farm, which she depends on to provide her educational needs. This has been a ritual since the last 3 years. Female students who could not farm to support themselves stay out of school when menstruation sets in. 6 months on, after TV3 Mission aired their plight, a non-governmental organization, Massive Cheerful Givers, has stepped in, and now the students can smile through the storm. It was a challenging time for the team assessing the community. Roads in Pandai are in deplorable state. The mission team and members of the NGO went through what the residents have been enduring for years. The dust, however, did not discourage the team from achieving their aim. A deba attended by parents, opinion leaders, members from the District Education Directorate, teachers and students was held. Items donated include 27 boxes of sanitary pads, 500 exercise books, and 1,000 pens.
You can't give them pad to go to school. We also have to add learning material to it, so that when they come to school, they feel comfortable. They feel like they are one of us, and they are human beings. They deserve the best.
Founder of Massive Cheerful Givers, Togbe Kodeza Jidefo Frank Tulasi, also outlined a 10-year plan for the school.
Lotu is very far. So coming up with this project, we really need to invest more money. But looking at the traditional way of solving this period issue, we're also looking at how they can solve it by using a handmade product like cotton. So we are coming up with a project like that.
Parents and teachers were grateful for the support. For the beneficiaries, the intervention is welcoming news.
I feel happy because I can concentrate with my books and I'll be feeling confident to learn, to sit in class.
In my menstruation, I don't come to school because the blood will be flow on me.
And so now that you have the pad, how is that going to help you?
It will help me to come to school always and learn well.
Pandai District Director of Education, Nayan Faustina, who described the development impeding girl-child education as unfortunate, said the directorate has placed premium on education.
It's very pathetic, and so we have made a move. Anywhere we go and we find any child in need for which the parent is not able to afford, we contact the parent to talk to the person to be able to assist the child to continue her education, particularly girls.
She lauded TV3 for its expose.
So grateful to TV3, more grease to their elbows so that they will continue to work in this district, and then our district will be advertised for more intervention into the district.
With this social intervention, female students of this school would be able to come to school confidently even when they are in their menstrual periods. There was also a sensitization session for the female students and mothers present. 2 members, Linda Asana Ijapon and Yvonne Baini, non-practicing nurses, handled the session.
So you wash from front to back. You don't start from your anus and then end here. You start washing from here. You clean them. You don't insect your hands inside. You just clean very well with water.
The Pandai district would require additional support from corporate organizations, government and philanthropic organizations to address the educational challenges. Stanley Niblu, TV3 News, Loloto, Pandai, Northern Region.
Television indeed gets results. Let's look at more mission stories and construction of schools, blocks and a chips compound at Bobobo in the Takonsiari municipality of the Western region have stalled at various stages. Stanley Nibleu again reports that health personnel posted to the community operate from a cubicle.
Bobobo is one of the suburbs of Takwa with increased population. The community is carved as one of the 33 chips zones in the municipality and has had health workers posted, but has no physical structure. The chief and elders of the community rented this apartment to serve the health needs of the people. However, this did not last as the community ran out of funds to pay for the rent. The owner of the apartment took over and has converted it into a shop. A member of the community then intervened. He offered this cubicle where healthcare is now administered to residents. The facility lacks space, and so only one staff mans it. Provision of healthcare has been limited to reproductive care.
Our place is too small. We don't have bed here. We don't have anything. It's too small. Because of that, only the family planning that and the CWC, what I'm operating now.
The community has initiated the construction of a CHIPS compound to include delivery, palpation and consulting rooms, but the project has stalled due to lack of funds. The community depends on proceeds from its public latrine for the construction of the project. Another project on the same premises has also suffered the same fate.
Behind me are two projects. The one that has been roofed is a school constructed by the central government in 2016. And this very one, which is at the foundation stage, also a community-initiated project. But the community is broke, and so this project has remained in this state since 2017.
The school project is a project from the assembly, which is Get Fund project. Now, as we are in this country now, the funds from Get Fund is not coming. So the ongoing project has become a standstill.
Linguist of the community, Chiami Kojo Japan lamented, successive governments have failed to ensure they benefit from the national cake. Kenneth Boabin is the assembly member for the Green Compound electoral area.
I asked the engineer about it. He told me the project is under investigation. As the change of government came, my last encounter with him, he told me even the consultant has been changed.
Tarkwa Nsoaye Municipal Health Director Emmanuel Afeokum said, addressing the health needs of Bobobo will require external support.
We are relying also on the support from the assembly and other stakeholders. We cannot push them so much. The only impact we can make is to leave the staff there to provide those community services and then use it as an entry point to demand a permanent place for them. And so their continuous presence is very important, and that is what makes it also significant that the stakeholders look at the situation on the ground and then give in a support.
Municipal Chief Executive for Tarkwa Nsoaye, Gilbert Kenneth Asma said, the assembly has budget constraints, but there would be way out.
Rome was not built in a day. You can't just do it one day. We have budgetary constraints. You know, we have the mining companies. They also do this in their catchment areas. If I had known this earlier, then I would have put the budget or the medium-term development plan. Everything is enshrined in that. But apart from that, we have other donor partners like the World Bank coming in to support.
Bobobo, like other underserved communities in the Tarkwa Nsoaye municipality, would require swift intervention to solve its health and educational needs. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Bobobo, Tarkwa Nsoaye, Western Region.
And authorities of 3 special schools want government to engage the services of health workers to take care of the health needs of the children on campus. Now, this they argue would improve health outcomes and help them deal with multiple learning difficulties.
The role of special schools in the country cannot be downplayed. Unfortunately, some of these schools, since their establishment, have not seen any renovation. At the Volta School for the Deaf and Blind, for instance, a gas plant installed has not been in use for the past 10 years due to lack of funds. The school has had to rely on the use of firewood to cook for students. The road network to the school is also in a deplorable state. Aside the infrastructural challenge, the schools also do not have health workers, a development authorities have described as worrying. Head of Volta School for the Deaf and Blind, Dr. Michael Kujo has appealed to philanthropists and public-spirited organizations to come to their aid.
The condition of this infrastructure in the special schools is a bit worrisome. Most of the vehicles of the schools are broken down. 10-year-old buses, 10-year-old vehicles, which you've been maintaining out of Omega resources. So the schools have virtually nothing, no vehicle.
To some other stories, and motorists and commuters in the Oti region and parts of the northern region want the construction of a bridge on the Oti River. Stanley Niblu reports commuters complain of exorbitant charges by ferry operators, which they say is taking a toll on their finances.
Oti is one of the 6 newly created regions. Inhabitants in the upper part of the region are able to access the other part of the region by a canoe, at a fee and also without life jackets. For motorists, the ferry is their only choice. It is an early Monday morning and already lots of commuters and motorists have shown up at the bank of the river, waiting to cross. They have already spent close to 3 hours at the bank, but soon the ferry arrives. The ferry has the capacity to carry more than 100 passengers and 30 vehicles at a time. This is the only means by which commuters and motorists from Pandai, Krachi, Inchumru and Ketekrachi can cross to Dambai in order to access town. Motorist challenge has to do with the exorbitant fares charged by these ferry operators. Cargo trucks and buses are levied 120 cedis. Land cruisers pay 30 cedis, while passengers pay 1 cedi before they are ferried across the river. Drivers say the charge is high, but the ferry operator affirms they are only adhering to a directive from above. Patrons of the ferry have other concerns.
Cars, the bumpers normally got broken, some of the tires burst because of the pontoon doesn't get correct place to land for the cars to be convenient to enter.
In the ferry, passengers are not given life jackets, even though they are available. But the ferry operator, Wisdom Poku, said there is no cause for alarm.
There is life raft, and the other one is life jacket, printed of them, which it can reach all the passengers.
So why don't you give them out?
Yeah, we can do that, but you know, we will dictate whenever there is a problem. That's why we have crew. We have crews on board, and everyone with each position. And when the thing happens, we can share for them faster.
He, however, indicated some challenges affecting the smooth operation of the ferry.
We don't fear anything. It's only wind that we fear. Whenever the storm is very high, we know, so we prepare ourselves for that.
They believe the only way to address this challenge is through the provision of a bridge, since the ferry is time-consuming. Stanley Niblu, TV3 News, Dambai, Oti region.
Let's stay in Dambai, where residents there in the Krachi East District of the Oti region have no access to potable water. The only source of water is contaminated by pollutants. Another report by Stanley Niblu.
President Akufo-Addo a fortnight ago announced Dambai as the Oti regional capital. Krachi East District is one of the 9 districts constituting the Oti region and is densely populated. However, infrastructure development does not match with population density. Access to potable water, for instance, is difficult.
The regional capital himself doesn't even have potable water. And the Oti River is there. So we don't know what Ghana Water Company is doing for us here. Because if only our regional capital self is facing crisis of water, what of we, the other constituencies? So we think governments have to intervene.
At Dambai, homes are not connected to any source of potable water. Residents have to adopt the traditional way of carrying water. For years, the community has been depending on the Oti River for domestic chores, despite the health risk. Garbage and liquid waste from the community ends up in the river. Akos tells the news team the community is compelled to depend on the Oti River because they have no choice.
This is
the only source of water we have in this community. People litter around, and so when it rains, fecal matter are washed into the river, making it difficult to use.
Water fetched is not treated before use. This is a major concern to residents.
This is the water we have been drinking from time immemorial. We are now told we will contract cholera if we consume it, so we need pipe-borne water.
Supplying water to homes has been a lucrative business for some residents. A drum of water sells for 4 Ghana cedis. Children are also in the business. This is where some people find solace when away from school. They help their relatives in the water business. Mohammed Seidu, who has been in the water business for 3 years, said although he makes lots of money from water sales, he wants an even distribution of water lines to individual homes.
For the water problem, we want the government to come and pour the water for the house for us. And then our fathers and our mothers don't almost suffer on the water again.
Dambai is not the only community in the region facing water challenge. Authorities make provision of potable water to serve the people a priority as a raw source of water. The Oti River is readily available.
You're still watching Midday Live with me, Wendy Lai, Director of Operations at the Presidency and member of the organizing committee of the 62nd Independence Parade. Lord Comey says all districts parades within the Northern region have been cancelled. This is to enable all municipal and district chief executives, directors of education, staff and school children participate in the parade in Tamale.
Lord Comey explained the decision has been agreed by the Northern Regional Minister and his deputy. He again revealed that as part of activities to mark the year of return, about 150 Ghanaians, African Americans arriving in Ghana are currently touring parts of the region. A peace concert has been slated for the evening of March 2, 2019. International guests will start arriving over the weekend, while special guest of honor President of Niger will be arriving on Wednesday, March 6, 2019. Meanwhile, rehearsal continues until Monday, March 4, 2019, where the dress rehearsal will be done. 30 contingents made up of 18 contingents of security services and 12 contingents of students drawn from the first and second cycle institutions within the Tamale metropolis and Sanerigu municipality. 11 interest groups will also participate in the parade. Some will represent the 6 newly created regions, namely Savannah, Northeast, Oti, Bono East, Ahaf North and Western North regions. The Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said has urged residents to endeavour to participate in the celebration. The 62nd Independence Day celebration is under the theme Celebrating Peace and Unity.
You're still watching Midday Live. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying. The National Petroleum Authority says the cylinder recirculation module should take off by the end of the first quarter of this year. The module was introduced in October 2017 to, among other things, ensure that LPG filling points are sited out of densely populated areas and commercial centers.
The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, began a risk assessment of all gas filling stations in the country to begin the implementation. A committee, National LPG Policy Implementation Committee, was also established to ensure a smooth rollout of the process. But the NPA has been somewhat silent over the time the policy will kick off, especially when various inspection and monitoring exercises have been conducted. Speaking on the sidelines of the signing of the safety document, CEO of the NPA, Hassan Tampuli, says the authority is committed to implementing the module.
CRM is in motion. We are different phases, and as you know, with good policies, it takes quite a bit of time for it to germinate. Because you need to have all the groundwork done as far as the safety procedures, the guidelines, the legislations, and so on and so forth. So we have finished all that. We have come out with the requirements for licensing for bottling plants.
He revealed that the first cylinder bottling plant has been constructed, awaiting stakeholder consultation for usage.
Some licenses have been issued, and then I believe that there is one bottling plant that has been constructed, which is in the process of probably being inaugurated. But we have an upcoming stakeholder consultation in the Greater Accra region, and I believe we'll speak more deeply about what we have done so far.
In order to ensure smooth implementation, LPG refilling plants will be classified into low risk and high risk based on their deficiency in meeting safety standards in a risk assessment of all plants by the NPA. The high-risk refilling station will be immediately converted into filled cylinder retail and distribution outlets, whereas low-risk refilling stations would be dedicated to the supply of auto gas only with improved safety standards.
Ghana has signed a deal with a Turkish firm to provide 500,000 affordable housing units across the country. The public-private partnership will provide at least 100,000 housing units a year for 5 years, beginning this year.
Ghana's housing deficit currently stands at about 1.7 million housing units. Successive governments have all made efforts at reducing the deficit, but not much has been achieved. The new agreement with the Turkish investors, the Ministry of Works and Housing says, will benefit all sectors of the economy.
In any of the urban centers, you come across a lot of luxury homes really looking for buyers. We are not looking at that situation. We want to target the lower and middle income earners. We want to ensure that young people like you have somewhere to lay their heads.
The Deputy Housing Minister assured government will work to complete previous uncompleted affordable housing projects started under previous government.
Senate has finished with the Boatima one. The Kumasi one is about 90% complete. We've put together some local banks who are going to support us finish that of Wa, Tamale and Koforidua to the tune of about $51 million.
Kofi Dankwa Asantentri is a managing director of HS Kodana Company Limited, the local implementers of the housing project.
HS Kodana Limited has been given 100,000 units minimum to construct within the next 4 years. They are going to help us initiate 5,000 housing units. And the land that has been allocated us is at Ojobi, just after Kaswa.
President of the Turkish investment group, Muslim Dinda, assured of their commitment to the deal.
Yardımcısına biz bütün kalple katılıyoruz. They will start with their own material, but as time goes on, they will take a lot of workers from here. They will teach them the new technology, and they will start most of the production materials that are going to be used for their construction.
The projects, which is expected to start from the central region, will begin with a lot of foreign inputs from Turkey.
That'll be all for business, but there's more news. Do stay. The Black Star International Film Festival has organized a symposium on revamping the film industry.
Do you have a problem?
Oh, yes! The state of the Ghanaian movie industry has been a major conversation across various media platforms for years. The industry at a point was one of the most promising industries in West Africa and on the African continent as a whole.
And I'm going to kill all of you. Kushi and Ansha Shashi, my pleasure.
Moron. But over the the last decade, the film industry in Ghana has been declining mainly due to financial challenges. In a bid to contribute towards the sector's revitalization, the Black Star International Film Festival has organized a symposium to find lasting solutions to the problems of the industry. President of Black Star International Film Festival, Juliet Asante, explained the benefits Ghana stands to gain from supporting the industry.
I think that as a country we are losing so much by not setting Ghana up as a co-production hub, and practically countries are paying filmmakers to come and make films there because the benefits are great. You have tourism numbers jumping as much as 300%, 500%. Until we have a tax rebate or cash back, everybody will bypass Ghana and go to South Africa. That's the reality. If we are able to even go and attract one film that costs $200 million, that's $200 million coming into our economy that is not going to go back. So we need to break things down to that level so that those who don't understand it will begin to understand it, that we are not just talking, but there's real money to be made in this sector.
Actress Amakia Bebrese spoke about why the Ghanaian movie industry is going through challenges.
It's a whole huge circle. Now we have Ghana where you have fragments of this group here, this group here, this group here. Filmmakers here are really just passionate, doing their work. A lot of times a filmmaker is a marketer, is a distributor, makes their films, does everything. It's like most filmmakers here are one-stop shop.
But what can producers and actors do to revamp the industry?
The solution starts with the industry players themselves. The industry players to begin to educate themselves, begin to do research and present viable data and say, look, if you give us $10 million in 1 year, in 5 years we can get this amount of money, then we can be going forward.
And that'll be all for this afternoon. Thanks for watching. I am Wendy Lai. Enjoy the rest of our programs, and remember, News 360 is at 7. Do have a lovely Sunday afternoon.